At this time, we'd like to call the Garden Grove City Council meeting to order. Ms. Baylor. Ms. Baylor, would you please call roll?
Councilmember Beard.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Fawn.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nguyen.
Here.
Mayor Broadwater.
Here. Okay, we had 3 items on the closed session, and we are not going to have anything to report on any of them. And so we'll go right into the Pledge of Allegiance that is going to be led to us by Mr. Jones, and then we'll... Invocation, I don't see it on there. Oh, it's on there.
Please face the flag and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the invocation. Dear God, we gather to make decisions for our community. May we use only our best skills and judgment, keeping ourselves impartial and neutral as we consider the merits and pitfalls of each matter that is placed before us, and always act in accordance with what is best for the community and our fellow citizens. Amen.
Amen. It's my understanding we have a community spotlight this evening, 2 of them.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like Mr. Clark to present our spotlights this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Fertal. Tonight, the Garden Grove City Council is honored to shine the community spotlight on an incredible, dedicated woman who has spent the last 40 years serving the Garden Grove Unified School District. Would Superintendent Dr. Laura Schwalm please step forward to the podium? Dr. Schwalm, a native of Orange County, first began her career with the Garden Grove Unified School District in 1973 as a student teacher. She's taught at both the primary and secondary levels, later serving in a variety of administrative positions, and in May of 1999, she assumed the position of superintendent. As superintendent, Dr. Schwalm served as chief executive officer for the district. She was responsible for the daily operations of the 3rd largest school district in Orange County and the largest employer in Garden Grove. While under her administration, the district earned numerous recognitions for academic excellence, maintained fiscal stability during the challenging economic times, implemented programs to prepare students for college and skilled careers, and passed the $250 million Measure A improvement bonds. It is, without a doubt, her strength, devotion, and love for education and for the students that has made Dr. Schwalm a highly valued and regarded role model within the district and the community as a whole. At the end of this month, after 40 years of service to the Garden Grove Unified School District, Dr. Laura Schwalm will begin her well-deserved retirement. The City Council extends their deepest appreciation for her distinguished service to the district and wishes her a long and healthy retirement. At this time, the Mayor and City Council would like to present Dr. Schwalm with a crystal memento in recognition and appreciation of her extraordinary 4 decades of service to the Garden Grove Unified School District.
If I may just take a moment to extend my appreciation. I'm humbled by, your acknowledgement, but it's truly been an honor to serve this fine community, the children, the families. It's been my pleasure, and I've been supported by wonderful teams of teachers, classified employees, and administrators. But I also need to say that I've been supported very graciously by the city. And I thank you for that. And I thank you for your wisdom in choosing staff that is very easy to work with. Your city manager, Matt Fertel, is delightful to work with. I think he has helped us establish a very strong working relationship. Your chief of police, Kevin Rainey, and the staff he has chosen have made our school district the envy of many of my colleagues to have such fine relationships. So I thank all of you for that. And I would also like to, if I may, introduce to you the new superintendent of our school district beginning July 1, and Dr. Maffei, if you'll come up so that they can see who you are. Now they know your face in case they have a complaint. No. Dr. Maffei has been part of our team for the last 12 years. She's highly committed to this community, to our children, and I know she will carry on in the highest manner, showing everyone what the children of Garden Grove and the Garden Grove Unified School District and their families can do. So thank you very much.
We have another spotlight. The Garden Grove City Council is proud to also recognize a devoted group of individuals who have played a significant role over many years to uphold the annual Strawberry Festival's reputation as Garden Grove's signature event. Would President Mark Mahoney, 2013 Strawberry Festival Association President, please come to the podium, and would the other board members stand up behind him? Mr. Weimer, Mr. Cahill, Mr. Sanders, the other folks that I don't know.
It sort of sound that way.
For 55 years, community leaders, volunteers have volunteered hundreds of hours planning and coordinating the Strawberry Festival, which celebrates the agricultural history of the city, highlighting the role of course, the strawberry in that tradition. This was the third most successful event in Strawberry Festival history. An estimated 250,000 people attended this year's festival, with, again, as always, many nonprofit groups benefiting by means of food and game booths. The nonprofit Strawberry Festival Association has raised over $6 million for local charities since its inception in 1958. Locally, some of the beneficiaries have been the Boys and Girls Clubs of Garden Grove, scholarships for local students, victims of domestic violence, and the homeless. From the profits this year, the association should be able to donate back between $100,000 and $120,000 to the community. Not only was this year's Strawberry Festival extremely successful, it was also very special. The theme was celebrating 55 years of helping local kids. The festival supports charities that help local children by inviting them to sell food and offer fundraising games during the festival. The board also provides $8,000 in scholarships. In addition, the board buses in 2,000 special needs children and treats them to a day of free rides, food, and a souvenir. The 4-day event, which is the second largest city festival in the western United States, brings out the best of Garden Grove's community spirit. At this time, the mayor and city council would like to present the Strawberry Festival Association with a memento in recognition of their tireless efforts in organizing and making the 2013 Garden Grove Strawberry Festival such a success.
No, you didn't.
Get up there, Jack.
55 years to come on. Jack, out. In there, Jack. Please, dear.
Mark.
Jack's been there all 55 years.
We have a document here for all of you. If you, I call your name, come on up and get it, please. Jerry, who's first?
Well, next year, Jerry, next year you get something that's solid.
Yeah. You get the.
Marcia?
Yes?
Marcia.
Marcia.
Thank you very much.
George Geltner is not here. I didn't see him.
No.
There's a bunch of late for that. Okay.
Bills for George.
Debbie Mahoney, is Debbie here?
No, she's able.
She sent her assistant.
Her assistant, he carries his bags.
Mike Fenderson, I didn't see him around.
We're in luck. No.
Sounds like a board meeting.
Gary Sunda, I didn't see Gary here. Steve Sanders, he's here.
Good.
Martin Hawksworth.
Get up, baby. You know that one. Yeah.
Tom Fairbanks.
No, he's on vacation.
Sue Catlin.
Hawaii.
After the festival, she went to Hawaii.
And she didn't want to stay here and get one of these?
I'll go give it to her.
We'll go to it, yeah.
Oh, how do you say Jackie's last name? I never get that.
Yeah,
Jack here. She must be on vacation or on an operation.
Scott.
oh, yeah.
Really?
Lon Cahill, former fire chief.
She does have a
You and I are the same age. How come you have so much hair? Jack, where are you? Waiting. Bill Catlin?
He's
with his wife.
with Sue in Hawaii.
3-week vacation. Hallelujah.
Jerry Margolin, I didn't see him. Don Miller, I didn't see Don.
Just on the shop.
Hattie Peterson.
No.
Laura.
Yeah.
There you go. There she is.
Oh, you're welcome. And Bill. Dutaskis. Am I messing that up?
Yeah, you not here.
Okay, thanks. Well, thank you.
If I could just say one thing, we really appreciate the recognition that you have given us again this year, and we appreciate all of your help and all of your efforts and the city departments who give us so much help during the weekend. We look forward to another 55 years, and I can tell you who's going to be president next year. It's not going to be me again, but Jerry Newkirk. So you will be working with him next year, and again, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, at this time, we will go to oral communications. Peter Katz.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here on behalf of the Vietnam War Museum to remind everyone of the 10th Annual Orange County Veterans Fair at the Elks Lodge this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with the opening ceremonies at 10 a.m. The War Museum will have a booth out there, so if anybody has questions about the museum and they want to find out more information, they could stop by. I'm sure the mayor will be there, and there's going to be a big surprise out there. There's a serviceman that many years ago had his home broken into and his silver star was stolen. And he doesn't know it, but Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez has authorized Congress to authorize a new one, and will be pinning it on his chest courtesy of his wife, going out there and making the extra mile to get that medal for him. So he's going to be shocked. So, I mean, if everybody come out there, I've seen it done before, and people have become stunned by it. So it's really a little heartwarming gesture that means a lot to a soldier. So honor the troops. If you're not doing anything on Saturday, come on out. And there's going to be booths out there, veterans that need jobs. The VA will be represented out there. social services for the homeless, help. I mean, there's all kinds of information out there. I believe they have more than 40, 50 vendors that are out there on Saturday. So, and they're there to help veterans to assimilate and once again remind you that every hour a soldier takes his own life coming back from the war. So it's really a sad thing. So a lot of these soldiers need some help. We have a lot of service-related illnesses of adjusting to life, like post-traumatic stress, and it's not easy. Transitioning from a war zone to a civilian zone, and a lot of soldiers cannot handle it, even though they're not based in combat. So it's a different life. And then the families that are home that go from school to school, from post to post, where children don't maintain friends. So there's a lot of family issues. Domestic violence is a big issue in the veteran community. And one of the board members of the War Museum helped found the Veterans Court to help deal with veterans that have gotten into trouble with the law. And our police departments have bent over backwards to help veterans because many of our officers were once veterans themselves. So they understand the difficulty of coming home after combat and trying to adjust to life. And a police officer knows more than anyone else. He has to do it every single day when he comes home to his family and kids and put his job aside. So let's give a little thanks and come out. It's also Flag Day, so show a little patriotism and come support the event. It's the 10th anniversary, and it's been a big success. It used to be held in different cities, but because Garden Grove is such a great host, and it's a great venue, so come and support the troops. Thank you.
Laura Wynn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Wynn, and I'm proud to say that I'm a nurse with the American Red Cross. I currently serve as an RN team supervisor assigned to blood collection operations at mobile sites in Orange County, California. I'm honored to be invited here and very thankful to Councilman Christopher Phan for giving me this opportunity to share this today. I met Chris at the 26th annual memorial service. I came out to support an elementary friend. I'd like to share a personal story with you today. It's the story of my family and the Red Cross. I see the good that Red Cross does every single day, but as a child, I experienced the good that the Red Cross is. In 1975, I was an infant in Vietnam. My family's from the north, but by the spring of 1975, we were pushed south to Saigon. By the end of April of 1975, it was clear to everyone that the city would soon fall to the communists. My father was responsible for the safety of not only his wife and 10 children, but also 12 other members of our extended family. When the end came, my parents gathered up all the children in order to head to any boat that my father could find for our escape. They found all of us except for my eldest brother, who tragically my parents were forced to leave behind. We ran for the pier as the communists shelled the city. I was strapped to my father's back as we ran to safety. My parents managed to get everyone onto this overcrowded fishing boat, and we headed out into the South China Sea. My parents and older siblings tell me of the horrible conditions on board that ship. People were seasick, the boat was filthy, and there was very little food. Everyone was fearful of what lay ahead. But after 3 months, we finally reached the United States. And when we arrived here, we encountered not only the kindness of a great nation, willing to take in penniless, homeless refugees, but also the goodness of the Red Cross. We were sent to a refugee camp at Fort Chaffee in Arkansas. It was in this camp when my family experienced firsthand the dedication, the professionalism, and incredible kindness of the American Red Cross. The Red Cross served as a bridge between those of us who escaped and those like my brother who were left behind. Red Cross volunteers worked tirelessly to bring news of family members unable to escape Vietnam to the lucky ones who got out. Each day, names were posted at the camp of the missing, and each day brought unimaginable joy to a family who learned through the Red Cross that a parent, a sister, or a brother was safe. The Red Cross fed us, they clothed us, gave us shelter, and gave us hope. The Red Cross gave generously to desperately poor refugees who had nothing but tears of thanks to give in return. It is no coincidence that today, among the children whom my father led to safety that fateful day in 1975, that 5 are medical doctors, 2 dentists, 2 chemists, and 2 optometrists. We learned as children what it means to give to yourself and to help others. The Red Cross taught us that lesson very well. It is a lesson none of us will ever forget. And the help received by my family from the Red Cross can never be fully repaid. I brought a photo of me just to share with everyone when I was a child in front of a Red Cross bus. I'm the one in the red, the smallest one in the red shirt. I often think that perhaps there is a small, scared child fleeing from danger somewhere on her father's back who might be cared for and comforted by the work that my fellow Red Cross employees and I do each day, and it makes me smile. As you know, it is very important to have enough blood supply for our patients. Thank you, Chris, for coming up to introduce yourself to me and being so eagerly to help with the blood drive, as well as being a donor. This is my first time recruiting donors for our community, and your help of having me here is very much appreciated. I'm very much nervous right now. I will have the blood drive on June 23rd. It's going to run from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. At 13952 Brookhurst in Westminster. It's going to be at Bank of America. And I'll be here if anybody'd like to sign up. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. Verla Lambert.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, and fellow citizens of Garden Grove. I'm here to let you know that there is another festival going on here in Garden Grove. The 10th Annual Neighborhood Meeting and Barbecue will be held June the 22nd. I'm just going to hit the top notes. I think John's here to give a lot of the particulars. And we have expanded to include my part of the neighborhood is really part of Garden Grove too, and so is the West. We are now the Garden Grove Neighborhood Association. And bring your appetite, bring your spouses and your family. This is what a weekend is for you to be with your family. Bring them. And there'll be raffles, there's lunch, and we would just love to see you all there. And it is on Meade Street. It will be at Maureen Blackman's house. It's 12381 Meade Street, Garden Grove. Her phone number is 714-636-3109. I left some brochures out on the table, and that information is on there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Verla. John Wildsmith.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, staff, and citizens of Garden Grove. Verla more or less said what I was about to say, but I can add a few things to that. Principally, everybody in Garden Grove, of course, is welcome to attend this meeting. Free to everybody. The lunch we're serving is Tito's Tacos. It's a really nice lunch with, some of you remember it from last year. It doesn't cost you anything to join the association, but for all the work that we do, such as tree planting for Arbor Day, a lot of the trees and the empty tree wells in Garden Grove have been filled by the Garden Grove Neighborhood Association. We have Adopt a Family at Christmas, where we adopt some poor families in the community and a few seniors as well. We had the political forum last year as well. We do a lot of good in the community. We are, for instance, the voice of the neighborhood in the community. So although it doesn't cost anything to join, we really hope that people will join. It costs $12 per family, not per person, $12 per family. And I think just the lunch at the annual general meeting is well worth that $12. So like Verla said, it's open to the whole of Garden Grove. We used to be called the Central Garden Grove, but now just Garden Grove Neighborhood Association, East, West and Central. We'd love to see everybody there. Now we do have, speakers have been invited from federal, state, county and of course City of Garden Grove, and I understand Mayor Broadwater and Councilman Beard will be there. The other three of you, if you can make it, please do. Police Chief, Fire Chief, we're hoping to have somebody from Public Works and I forget his name now, from Doctor from Garden Grove Unified School District. He will be there as well. So, you know, a lot of information to impart. We hope that everybody will have a jolly good time, and like I say, please come. It's just one block west of Gilbert Street, just on the north side of Lamson. It will be well signposted. So everybody come along, have a good time, bring your appetite. We do have some raffles. Bring a little bit of extra money for the raffles as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bruce Tran.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Councilman and staff. My name is Bruce Tran, and I'd like to jump the subject here to the 6.I. That's the approval of an agreement with the Association of the Vietnamese Language and Cultural Schools of Southern California to conduct the 2013 Moon Festival. That's a mouthful. I don't know if you all have attended a Moon Festival since you're young or not. I bet you Bruce has. I know Chris has, and I know Dina has. The Moon Festival is really a celebration of a new autumn, as well as for kids, youngsters, to really bring about new life and rejuvenate the community altogether. Every year, for the past so many years, the Moon Festival has taken place in the city of Garden Grove. And for the past number of years, it's been greatly supported by the city, and we're highly appreciative of that. This year, however, because of cutbacks, because of spending, economic situation, we understand the city has imposed a few conditions which would be probably very difficult for, quote, the Association of the Vietnamese Language and Cultural School of Southern California can afford. It's a nonprofit organization, and its members are leaders, teachers, students, and concerned citizens like myself, has been participating for all these number of years. Last year alone, there are over 5,000 attendants, of which 4,000 were children. And the association has gone out of its way to prepare gifts for the children, which is really the future of our community. I'm here, among the other association of members here, we'd like to ask the council as well as the staff to really look into ways to support us. and not to impose some very stringent condition which we know we cannot meet. Since we cannot meet that, it will be running into an impasse with the city. If that's the case, we're going to cause a lot of unhappy children, which we don't wish to do that. We'd like to work it out with the city as much as we can. But before I leave this podium, I'd like to remind the staff as well as council and mayor and pro tem one thing. The Vietnamese resident for the past over at least 2 decades has been a great support of Garden Grove, and likewise, the city of Garden Grove has helped its citizens, not only the Vietnamese, but all nationality, to grow and prosper in this community. Hence, we have such great festival as the Strawberry Festival, or we're going to attend the 10th year barbecue. Help us to help you. And we need, for all of us, to help our children. And, we provide gifts to these children free. We don't charge them a single thing. And it comes out of our donation, like myself, have contributing for many years. As one individual can make such a contribution, I think the city can take some of its funds to make a contribution toward the greater cause, our kids. And I really beg, if necessary, that the council take in great consideration and reduce, if not remove, any of these stringent conditions so we can proceed forward with the Moon Festival. Thank you.
Dana Mann.
Good evening. My name is Dana Mann, and I would like to briefly comment on the social host ordinance, which is item 9C listed on tonight's agenda under items for consideration. On behalf of the Garden Grove Drug-Free Coalition, and as a parent of a graduating senior from Pacifica High School in a couple weeks, I would like to thank you, Mayor Broadwater, and City Council members for developing a very well thought out and comprehensive ordinance that holds adults liable who knowingly allow our children under 21 to drink alcohol at parties that they host. For the past 5 years, our coalition has educated and mobilized the community to understand the harms of underage drinking and benefits of a social host ordinance. Most recently, we welcome parents and several city council members to our Reality for Parents, in which youth made the case for curbing teen parties. Honestly, after being in this field for almost 30 years, I was surprised by my own emotional reaction that I had at this event. It's one thing as a parent to not want your children to drink and get drunk and increase their risk of something bad happening to them. We as adults know that teen drinking can lead to addiction, alcohol poisoning, sexual assault, violent crimes, accidental injury, vandalism, DUI injuries, and death. But to hear the feelings that were expressed by teens at the reality party was quite moving. It's very emotional. They want it to stop. Our teens don't want to continue experiencing feelings of poor self-esteem resulting from poor decisions they made because of drinking. The social host ordinance will be an effective tool for police who frequently deal with loud and unruly parties involving underage drinking. However, I believe an important benefit of the social host ordinance will be as a deterrent. Adults will think twice about hosting such parties and hopefully will stop. My only concern is that as the ordinance is currently written, the police services fees, it states that they shall not exceed $1,500. From the extensive research that I've done in this subject, and looking at other social host ordinances within Orange County, as well as in San Diego and across the country, most of them have a average fine of $1,000 and ranging anywhere from $250 up to even $2,500. I really feel that making an amendment to the way the ordinance is currently written to add a minimum $1,000 fine would really help to serve as a strong deterrent for this. We currently have a minimum fine or a fine of $1,000 for illegal fireworks. We can't even put a price on the health and welfare of our children. I really think that I would like to request that you recommend considering making this amendment of a $1,000 minimum fine and putting it up front in the ordinance where community members can see it, because as it's currently written, it's embedded pretty deep within, and unless you really dig through and look for it, it's hard to see. And I think knowing that up front will have some really strong teeth as a deterrent. If you pass this ordinance, our coalition plans to launch a media campaign to inform our Garden Grove residents and raise awareness of social hosting and its consequences. We will send our message loud and clear. Adults who host underage drinking parties will be penalized. In conclusion, we look forward to Garden Grove joining Huntington Beach, Irvine, Laguna Hills, Laguna Beach, Mission Viejo, and Orange by becoming the next Orange County city to adopt a social host ordinance. Thank you for all of your hard work and dedication in helping Garden Grove to be a safer and healthier community by protecting the public health, safety, and general welfare of our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles Mitchell.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and staff. I noticed on the agenda that one of the items is proposing $27,000 to pay for a trip to Hawaii and Korea. Now, I can understand the benefit of the association with our sister city of Anyang, and I understand with the proposal for the Vietnam War Museum, the interest in being in the area where World War II began at Pearl Harbor and looking at the museums and how they are put together there to get ideas for the museum that's going to be put together on Harbor Boulevard. But I just wonder, with the recent IRS scandal involving members of the IRS having a lavish vacation in Las Vegas, if $27,000 is as much money as we really need to spend. Now, since you're going to be in Hawaii and visiting Pearl Harbor, you will probably visit the memorial for the battleship Arizona. There are a number of veterans in Orange County, many of them from World War II, and many of them Pearl Harbor survivors, who get together on the second Wednesday of every month in Costa Mesa at the community center. This is called the Freedom Committee of Orange County, and the purpose of this group is these veterans go out to schools and talk to the students about their experiences. We have veterans from every branch of the service, and as I say, from World War II all the way up through the current conflicts in the Middle East, dedicated to giving the students a real perspective on what military service and duty is all about. So everyone is invited to come to the meetings. They start at 11:30, and you bring your own lunch. And we always have an exciting program from one of the veterans, and could be anyone from World War II all the way through Vietnam, and as I say, all the way up to the current conflict in the Middle East. So if you're available on Wednesdays, that would be tomorrow at 11:30, come and join us in Costa Mesa. And also on the agenda was considering the assessment of Main Street. Now, I know that there are expenses for Main Street, and I know that there are assessments on the property owners on Main Street, but I hope that this is not going to be raising the cost to these business owners on Main Street. And I just wonder if maybe part of that $27,000 could be better spent on Main Street. There's a lot of things that need to be done. Now, the last council meeting, I asked if there was anything on the books regarding the color of buildings, because I'd like to suggest that we brighten up Main Street. The Sunday following that meeting, the travel section of the Register had something on Toronto, Ontario, which shows what can be done to brighten up a Main Street. So take a look at that and see if we might come up with something a little better for Main Street. And please get back to me and let me know if there's an ordinance prohibiting brighter colors. Thank you.
Thank you. B. Jones.
Good afternoon, Mr. Broadwater, Mayor, and Council. I am B. Jones, and naturally I am here in the month of June to bring you more information to remind you of Juneteenth. It's right upon us, and if we go back, think in our memories, look back, go back as far as maybe 2002. That's when the state of California considered Juneteenth as a state holiday, not a paid holiday, but a day of recognition. It actually says, I'm reading from the law, Senate Bill 812, which says, the third Saturday in June each year will be Juneteenth, National Freedom Day, a day of observance. And it would urge all Californians to join in celebrating in this day, to honor and reflect on the significant roles that African Americans have played in the history of the United States of America, and how they've enriched society through their steadfast commitments to promoting freedom, brotherhood, and equality. Here in Orange County, historically, the NAACP, the National Association of Colored People, has been responsible for planning a Juneteenth celebration countywide. This year, they will not have a big celebration in the park. They're going to do a entertainment and dance, which will eliminate a lot of people, particularly the little people, the people who need to know about our history. But those who are interested, the event will be at the Elks, and I think it costs $25 or something. But the important thing is the observance of Juneteenth. What is Juneteenth? It is the date that goes back to 1865, when blacks, particularly in the state of Texas, Galveston, Texas, got the information that the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. They had worked 2.5 years extra over everybody else. So needless to say, they threw down the holes, the rakes, and they had a celebration. And they celebrated. Ultimately, the state of Texas understood the importance of that date. And lots of things went into it, because it wasn't until 1970 that they made Juneteenth a state holiday. That is a paid holiday. They closed the city down. Everyone enjoyed the importance of the celebration, and they were real celebrations in the park. I could go into that forever, but that's the basic beginning of it. And so when people left Texas and migrated throughout the rest of the United States, they brought their history with us. And it took until, 2002, before our beautiful state of California recognized it. It's very important to me that the people here in Orange County, where I pay taxes, where I live, where I've raised my children, recognize Juneteenth some way, somehow. You can come to my house. I'm going to have a party, but I'm not going to be able to, to bring a whole bunch of people. But I do have a little ritual that I do. You'll probably see a lot of red, black, and green flags flying this weekend. This is the Universal African flag, which represents all people of African descent, regardless of land of birth. This is their flag. This is what will be flying. You will see those that have the Juneteenth flag, which I didn't bring for you today, but see the Juneteenth flag. I think it's on my T-shirt. But it also looks like this. And we see our youth here with the Juneteenth flag. I have those available if anybody's interested. So a ritual should include the presence of the flag, the playing of the anthem, and the renewal of Juneteenth itself. We look also at the Emancipation Proclamation being read, the proclamation by the governor, and we also definitely read the final thing that really made Juneteenth, which was the 13th Amendment. That is also read as a part of our ritual for Juneteenth. I recommend that everyone in the city remember that holiday. If they have a real need to know more, come next. It'll be after Juneteenth, I think on the 22nd. There'll be a great presentation on Juneteenth with a lot of history and documentation and facts that you've probably never seen. Come out to, where are we? Huntington Beach, I'm sorry. In Huntington Beach, where I'll be teaching a class on Juneteenth. And you can contact me on the date and location of that. And it's free. And that's about 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday the 22nd. But remember Saturday, get you a flag, fly your flag somewhere, put one on your desk, let people understand that you know the history of the United States. Thank you very much.
Thank you, B. Keith Dawn.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, and all City Council members. My name is Keith Doan, and I'm here on behalf of the Associations of the Vietnamese School and Language Associations of Southern California in support of the Moon Festival event application. First and foremost, we wish to express our gratitude for your generosity and kindness, allowing us the opportunity for the past 2 consecutive years to operate and conduct the Moon Festival in this great city of Garden Grove, where Little Saigon is also located and home of the most well-known and probably most popular Tet Festival outside of Vietnam, and in addition to the Strawberry Festival. We also appreciate your consideration of our application to continue this great tradition called Moon Festival for this calendar year. Ladies and gentlemen, the Associations of the Vietnamese Language and Cultures Schools of Southern California, also referred to as TAVIT, is an educational, nonprofit organization recognized by the state of California and the IRS under Section 501c3. Our primary goal is to preserve, introduce, and promote the wonderful, unique Vietnamese language and cultures to the local community as well as to the general community throughout the United States. In Southern California alone, we have at least 90 affiliated Vietnamese language centers where every weekend, including myself and at least 1,000 volunteers, would help teaching over 10,000 children how to speak, read, and write Vietnamese. We also teach these children how to sing Vietnamese ballads, traditional dances, and historical skits, so that they will know and retain their roots, but most importantly, become useful contributors to the local community in the future. In concert with our educational program, as briefly described above, we also reach out to the community by introducing the beautiful Vietnamese culture and its richness thereof. Every year, David is entrusted by the Vietnamese community to chair the Moon Festival, also called the Children's Festivals, as originally intended by our forefathers in Vietnam. Second only to the Tet Festival in terms of popularity, the Moon Festival is mainly catered to children from 2 to 92. It is like a festive school grounds where all the children of all different ethnic backgrounds come together to sing, to dance, to play games, to create beautiful lanterns in a beautiful, fullest, and brightest full moon. Since this is a free event and we don't charge any admissions, therefore there's no profit to be made, but like any public event, it is required that we have to have finance to operate. Thus, David has to raise funds to cover for all of these operating expenses. To fund such event, we raise funds by having a recycle program where we would collect electronics waste and we sort it out and recycle it as endorsed by the state of California. Every year we strive to raise just enough money to cover for all the expenses. And in the end, we often come up with just enough money to pay for the costs. Much thanks to the generosity of the community of Orange County. This year, following our submittal of the Moon Festival applications to the city, we have received a formal agreement for acceptance and executions. All conditions contained therein seem reasonable, except for a couple of things, specifically the requirements for advance deposit in the amount of $5,000 for the cost of police services, and the requirement for the advance deposit in the amount of $2,500 for any damages to the city, property, and facilities. These requirements certainly present a financial burden to our nonprofit organizations at this time. In the event that there are any damages or any extraordinary services required to ensure public safety and for the Moon Festival, we will call upon the community to assist us financially. In other words, we will fulfill our obligations in accordance with the agreement as the needs arise. Therefore, it is respectfully requested that the City Council would grant us a waiver or removal in its entirety for the above deposit requirements. The Moon Festival is organized for the mutual benefit of the community. We envision that this event will bring all communities together, not just the Vietnamese American.
Mr. Doan, you're really going way over time, so.
Yes, sir. In light of the above, in your providential wisdom and the empowerment of the people of the city of Garden Grove, we sincerely urge that you would approve the agreement with modifications as requested. Thank you very much, and you have a good evening.
Why don't you and Mr. Tran get along, make an appointment to see me at City Hall?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Josh McIntosh.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, and the good people of Garden Grove. I wanted to start off with the niceties here. We had a small-scale miracle happen on June 2nd in Garden Grove. With the help of Allison Mills and the Living Spring Christian Fellowship Church of Garden Grove, a very needy family had a full home renovation done at no cost to them whatsoever. I had been fishing around for volunteers and donors to help out this family. I brought it to council here, and somehow Allison got in touch, and got the ball rolling for this. And I just think she deserves a plaque and should be up here. And, she made a miracle happen. 60 people came, repainted a house, redid plumbing, redid electric, redid kitchen cabinets. They did everything that this poor lady who works full-time for Walmart. So, I'm going to have to go there with you love Walmarts, Bruce. You've brought them to our city and all the fine people that'll be hanging out 24 hours. Thank you for, the Walmarts. But, as an example of someone that doesn't have a great cushy job, and needs the help from the community, Allison and a Living Spring Christian Church and myself went out there and got it done. It was truly a little miracle for Garden Grove. It really brought up the home values of a city on that street. It had been like the shoddy house on the street for 20 years. And, man, awesome. Thank you, Allison. Of course, I was going to mention the Garden Grove Neighborhood Association meeting. That is important to go to, June 22nd. For anyone in this room that actually cares about their community, please show up and attend. It's the only place where the neighbors get to talk and kind of come up with strategies for a better Garden Grove. And it's pretty important. Okay, the big deal. $27,000 to send you guys to Hawaii with Miss California? Forget it. This is terrible. This is not where our tax money should be going. If you guys want to go to Hawaii, pay for it yourselves. I'm sorry. Our tax money should not be funding a field trip to our sister city and to Hawaii so you can look at museums. You want to look at museums? We've got them right here in California. Get in your cars and go there. We should not be forced to pay. Well, we're not forced to. You're going to vote on your decision whether or not you're going to spend that money. A couple weeks ago, Dina made the first descending vote, whatever you call it, when she actually went against the grain and didn't vote for the community services fees to go up because she said it's not fair to the economy of the people who are struggling still, and it's not fair to our city budget to send you guys to Hawaii. If you go on the internet if you want to get information, this is, I'm going to be so mad at you guys if you pass this.
The plane goes to Korea, and it's got to either stop. Why don't you listen to me for a minute?
Okay. It's my 5 minutes.
Well, I'll give you 2 more.
Okay.
No, I won't, just one.
Okay.
The plane goes to Hawaii or Dutch Harbor, stops at one or the other. We chose Hawaii. We just did not want to get off at Dutch Harbor, so...
I'd love to take Miss California to Hawaii too. That sounds like a great
I'm glad
idea.
she wouldn't let you go with him. With her.
But it says in here.
By the way, we put a roof on some lady's house about 3 weeks ago. Where were you that day?
I was probably
There were
over at the other lady's
There were probably
house.
60 people on top of that roof, and I looked all over for you, Josh, and you were nowhere to be found.
What neighborhood was this in? Was this in West Grove?
No, northern Garden Grove. Right
Okay.
Up, close to Catella.
I might have been volunteering at the Garden Grove Historic Society that day.
No, we don't think. We checked that out. You weren't there.
It might have been where I was volunteering for the Orange County Historic Society that day. I'm not sure where I was volunteering on that particular Sunday, but chances are it was. Oh, maybe it was the farmer's market. I'm doing the farmer's market now, too.
That needs to clean that street up. We're going to get you a bigger broom.
Yeah. I didn't bill you for it this year.
Josh, your time is out.
Aloha, Mr. Hand.
We've been asked to take a 5-minute break. We will do that. Thank you very much. City Council meeting back together again, and
Agency.
we need to recess the city and go to the Successor
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you like to call the roll?
Member Broadwater?
Here.
Member Wynn?
Here.
Member Fawn?
Here.
Vice Chair Beard?
Here.
Chair Jones?
Here. We already did oral communications simultaneously with City Council. Consent items.
Move to approve.
Second.
Call the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
No public hearings, no items. Any matters from agency members?
None.
Seeing none, we'll adjourn back to council.
Okay. At this time, we will go to oral communications. No, we've had oral communications. We'll go to
Consent calendar.
consent calendar.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item 6I for a brief discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull 6A.
6A and 6I.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question on 6C for staff.
So we're going to pull 6C.
Okay, we'll pull 6C. Anybody want to make a motion on the balance?
Move the balance.
Second.
Call the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
6A.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I just want to make a comment on this. I don't have a question. I'm happy to report that we are receiving a portable 2,000-gallon water trailer through the efforts of our city, through pretty much a consortium of cities that worked out with the Metropolitan Water District, through Homeland Security monies, if I'm correct. In essence, what I want to say is the city already has a portable water truck, if you call it. We've had it for a while, have we not?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, we've had that water buffalo or portable water trailer for 3 years. It's gone through some progressive improvements that was actually served as a prototype for the public bidding that Municipal Water District of Orange County did to acquire 12 more of those water buffaloes. And so Garden Grove is fortunate to be one of the members to receive one of those.
And that's what I wanted to comment on, too. Through our innovation, through the work of our staff, our public works, we created this prototype. Now we have 2, and other cities or other authorities throughout the county will have these same portable units that can be used in an emergency situation for emergency water for citizens. So I just want to bring that to light. You know, we don't hear a lot about these things behind the scenes, but these are important items that come up when you need them. They're there, and it's through the efforts of our Public Works Department, our staff, their innovativeness, and their willingness to work this out that we have these emergency means at our disposal, and I want to commend you for doing that. That's why I wanted to bring this up. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Point out that it's not only portable, it's also potable.
Well, it takes 2.5 gallons for emergency flushing a toilet, so maybe that's a reference to that. Thank you so much.
Would you like to make a motion?
I'll move the item.
Second.
Call for the vote. Go to 6C.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Just a quick question as far as why, or if there was a reason for the no open bid for this cross guard services. I just wanted to just ask for details as far as what the procedures was, because usually we see there's always an open bid or some sort of open competition before we select them. In this case, I didn't see it, so I just wanted to have some clarification.
Councilmember Fawn, I'll have to get back to you on that. My budget manager handled the process, and it was so seamless, so I'll respond back to you within 2 weeks.
Thanks, Chief.
Should we, is there any danger in continuing that item then for sponsor? Or is that what you're asking?
Yeah, is there any danger, Chief, as far as the contract, if we extend it to be a problem for the crossing services guards?
It shouldn't be. This will take effect in August.
Oh, okay, so we still have a little time. Okay, thanks, Chief.
Move to approve.
Second.
Hold on.
Nope.
It
This
is?
one's just being continued.
Oh, it's moved to continue.
Oh, you
So
continue.
Chief
But a
comes back
motion
with
to
the answer.
continue.
Second that.
Yeah.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
6I.
I just want to mention that 95% of the members of this organization are children, and 5% are teachers, and they have about 1,000 volunteers. And so I don't see this organization the same as the others that have members, adult members who are capable of more fundraising, more resources. And so I think I'd like to have a motion to continue this item for further discussion, as well as for us to look into the different ways we can remove some of the strict requirements on the children. And also, as to the schools that offer the Vietnamese language and Vietnamese culture studies, they're open to all children, not just Vietnamese children. So I've seen them taking all of the children in Garden Grove, and if anybody is interested, they can contact the school, and especially if they want to learn about it, go to the Moon Festival. I also wanted to say that the schools are very good because on the weekends, the children go to the school and they're taught a lot of morals and ethics. And I think that gives them a base of good values for families and also for the community. And I'd like to move for continuance to the next meeting, so we have a chance to further study this group and how we can help them.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Let's go to public hearings.
Mr. Mayor, first public hearing is to consider leveling the assessments for the Garden Grove Street Lighting District and the Park Maintenance District. And Anna Neal is here to give a staff report on this. She'll give a staff report on all 3 of the assessments, but the votes and the hearings will be conducted separately. So with that, Anna Neal, please.
Thank you, Mr. Fertal, Mr. Mayor, and members of the City Council. Tonight, the City Council is asked to consider holding a public hearing and adopting the resolutions for collection of assessments on the city's street lighting and park maintenance districts. On May 14, 3 resolutions of intention to levy and collect assessments were adopted by the City Council. The purpose of the assessments is to pay for the operation and maintenance of the street light and park districts. An engineer's report has been prepared and it's on file with the Public Works Department. The public hearing is required by law, and its purpose is to hear testimony on the question of the annual assessments. Once the hearing is complete, the resolutions may be adopted. Should the resolutions pass, the required information will be forwarded to the county assessor for collection of the assessments. The assessments will raise approximately $1.3 million in street light revenue and $700,000 in park maintenance revenue. There are no increases in the assessment rates from the last fiscal year. This concludes my report, and staff is available to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, at this time, we'll open up the hearing for the Garden Grove Street Lighting District 99-1. Would anybody like to speak on that issue? Hearing none, we will close the hearing. We need to receive a report.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members, at this time I would like to enter into the record the following information. As of 5:30 p.m., June 11, 2013, the City Clerk's Office received no protest on the proposed assessment for District 99-1. Since 5:30, no protests have been received. There are 349 parcels in District 99-1. As a result, there is not a majority protest.
Any comments from City Council? Any questions, discussion?
Move it.
Second.
Okay, we'll entertain
The 7A1, do we have to take them all in
Separately.
piecemeal? Okay.
Yep.
7A1, move it.
entertain a motion to approve the resolution confirming the assessment. We have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Seven A2, receive the report. Move that.
I think you're ahead of yourself here. Okay, let's go with Garden Grove Park Maintenance District. At this time, we'll open up a public public hearing for the Garden Grove Park Maintenance District. Anybody want to speak on that issue? Hearing none, at this time we will receive a report from the city clerk.
Mr. Mayor and City Council members, at this time, I would like to enter into the record the following information. As of 5:30 p.m., June 11, 2013, the City Clerk's Office received no protests on the proposed assessment for the Park Maintenance District. Since 5:30, no protests have been received. There are 35,393 parcels in the Park Maintenance District. As a result, there is not a majority protest.
Any discussion from the council? Any questions for staff?
Move 784.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Okay, let's go to the Garden Grove Street Lighting District, and we'll open up the public hearing. Anybody like to speak on the Garden Grove Street Lighting District? Hearing none, we will close the hearing. Ms. Baylor, would you please report?
Mr. Mayor and City Council members, at this time, I would like to enter into the record the following information. As of 5:30 p.m., June 11, 2013, the City Clerk's Office received no protest on the proposed assessment for the Street Lighting District. Since 5:30 p.m., no protests have been received. There are 34,793 parcels in the Street Lighting District. As a result, there is not a majority protest.
Move 785.
Any discussion? Anybody want to say anything? Any comment? Okay, at this time, we'll entertain a motion.
Move 785.
Second. Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Eight A is the next item.
Okay, let's go with 8A.
Mr. Mayor, item 8A is actually a repeat of an action you took at the last meeting. This is to set a time and place for the public hearing regarding the Main Street assessments, but this needed to be published in the paper, and it was not, so we're going to retake the action to set the public hearing for next meeting on June 25th. So we just need to adopt this resolution.
Somebody want to make a motion on adopting this resolution?
Move to approve.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Items for consideration.
Mr. Mayor, 9A is an approval to approve the renewed Measure M 7-year capital improvement program, and Bill Murray is here to give a staff report on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Fertel. Mr. Mayor, members of the council. In 2006, the voters of Orange County approved the renewal of a local transportation funding ordinance called Measure M. Each year, the City of Garden Grove receives about $2 million as minimum from the Measure M program. These funds are used to maintain and/or improve our city streets. As required to receive these funds, council is being asked to approve our 7-year CIP, certify our maintenance of effort reporting form, and to adopt the latest master plan of arterial highways for the county. These documents are attached to your staff report for your reference. Should the council decide to approve these documents, the city will continue to receive Measure M2 funding and use that money in turn to improve the city's streets. This concludes staff's report, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Call for the vote. I see you went to work on. I see you went to work on getting some of those streets smoothed out today.
Yes, sir.
It was almost a pleasure to drive down one of them. Almost is right. 9B.
Mr. Mayor, 9B is to consider a purchase and sale agreement for property on Harbor Boulevard, and Carlos Marquez is here to give a staff report on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Fertel. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. The purpose of this report is for the Garden Grove City Council to approve an agreement for acquisition of real property with Dan C. Coriel Sr. for the acquisition of real property located at 12371 Harbor Boulevard in the City of Garden Grove. The City of Garden Grove and the Garden Grove Agency for Community Development are the owners of 3 contiguous parcels of land located at 12401, 12411, and 12421 Harbor Boulevard. The parcels are being assembled for a future replacement site for Fire Station Number 6. The current fire station does not meet modern fire station standards. The subject property has been identified as a necessary acquisition towards the assemblage of a site suitable for construction. The subject property has been listed for sale at $359,000. The property contains 7,410 square feet of land and is improved with a 975 square foot single-family residence. Staff has negotiated an agreement with the owner to acquire the subject property for $350,000, which has been determined to be a fair market value. The subject property is being rented by 3 individuals for $1,100 per month. The lease is a holdover lease and is now on a month-to-month term. And upon the close of escrow, staff will renegotiate new terms with the tenant for continued occupancy of the subject property until such time that construction is set to begin. The tenant would be eligible for relocation assistance upon displacement by the city. And cost for the acquisition of the subject property will be appropriated from Fund 108 of land sale proceeds, and there's no impact to the general fund. Based on the foregoing, staff recommends that the City Council approve the acquisition of the subject property at 12371 Harbor Boulevard, authorize the Finance Director to appropriate $350,000 and necessary funds for closing costs from Fund 108 for fiscal year 2013-2014 for the acquisition of the subject property, authorize the City Manager to execute the agreement, the grant deed, and pertinent documents with Mr. Dan C. Coriel and make minor modifications as needed on behalf of the City, authorize the City Clerk to accept the grant deed on behalf of the City, authorize the Finance Director to draw a warrant in the amount of $350,000 when appropriate to do so. And finally, authorize the City Manager to execute the rental agreements on an interim basis pending construction of the fire station. And that concludes the report.
Any questions for staff? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Social host.
Mr. Mayor, 9C is ordinance amending the municipal code establishing the social host ordinance, and Tom Nixon is going to give the staff report on this item.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, before the City Council this evening is an ordinance establishing social host liability. The ordinance makes it a misdemeanor to have or allow a party on private property if the person knows or reasonably should know that persons under the age of 21 are consuming alcohol or being served alcohol for their consumption. It would also be a misdemeanor for other individuals at the party to provide alcohol to persons under 21 for consumption. The ordinance does exempt certain conduct, including consumption of alcohol exclusively between a person under 21 and his or her parent, conduct including religious activity that is protected under either the United States or California constitutions, conduct such as ABC-regulated activities that are preempted from local regulation, and situations in which a responsible person contacts law enforcement to remove partygoers who refuse to comply with the regulations or to terminate a party to prevent the underage alcohol consumption, as long as that responsible party does so before somebody else is having to call the police because of an unruly party. Persons responsible for these parties may also be subject to administrative citations. Just in response to comments that were made a little bit earlier at oral communications on this, from an enforcement standpoint, we have persons that are responsible being subject to misdemeanor citations if they violate the ordinance. In addition, we do cross-reference to our administrative citation ordinance so that there are administrative fines up to $1,000 available for the violation. In addition, we cross-reference to our existing large party police response ordinance, where if the police have to respond out on a second-time basis at a party like this, the police may impose a police services fee of up to $1,500. So we do cover the broad base there, I believe, on those aspects. The title of the ordinance is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove establishing social host liability for consumption of alcohol by persons under 21 years of age at parties, gatherings, or events. Staff recommends that the City Council introduce the ordinance and pass it to its second reading. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
The lady that spoke on this, I misplaced her name, but the lady that spoke on this earlier said that we were about the 6th or 7th city in this county to pass this ordinance. Has there been any arrests or, any citations given that we know of in other cities?
I am not aware of what the enforcement has been in other cities. I know that you're correct, Mr. Mayor, that 6 or 7 other cities have adopted these, but I don't have feedback on how they're the number of citations, for example, that have been issued in any particular city.
Well, I'd like to ask Chief Todd, have we ever run into this in instances before?
With regard to other cities, Mr. Mayor?
No, regard to Garden Grove.
As far as a social host ordinance, as far as an adult holding,
yes,
having a party, yes, absolutely. Okay. Several times. We've responded to many parties over the years that a parent is present, and the idea is that if they take the car keys from the kids, they feel it's okay to let them, have alcohol and party at the house, with the rules being, that they stay there at the house. I think what the social host ordinance does is it gives us a tool as a police department to deal with that individual and to let them know that it's not okay for people in the city of the Garden Grove to host. If you're an adult and you're hosting a party for people under the age of 21, you're going to be responsible now for serving them alcohol.
So if they had a keg of beer in the backyard and 100 kids back there, that would be something that we'd write up?
Yes. Currently on the books, we can't do anything about that for the host currently. So this will allow us to actually go in once we see that, and as long as the person knows or should have known, and most of the time if it's happening in their home, and there's a big keg in the backyard and there's 100 kids with 100 cups in their hand drinking out of the keg, it's pretty obvious that they should have known what was going on. And what that does, that allows us to actually write that citation at that point.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just to confirm, it's $1,000? Can we make it $1,000 for the first infraction?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a part of the ordinance right now?
It's a part of our existing administrative citation ordinance, and this amendment to the code specifically states that that section of our ordinance applies here.
Okay, good.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Jones?
There was a comment by the public earlier asking if we could pull that $1,000 thing more prominently forward in the ordinance. Is that possible to do?
I think she might have been confused. I think what she referred to is we currently have an ordinance on the books that deal with large party gatherings. And in that ordinance, what happens when we respond to a loud party for a second time, we actually charge the host of that party $2 per minute per officer, up to $1,500. So I think that's where she got that confused. With regard to this ordinance, not only can they be tagged with the $1,500 for breaking up the party, but they also can receive an admin cite for $1,000 for hosting the party. So they get double whammy, $2,500.
Captain, also, did you say that once the word gets out on something like that, it really gets out? It shuts it down like illegal fireworks?
Yes.
We had the $1,000 fine?
Yes. I think with regard to the mayor's question with other cities, I have heard in the city of Mission Viejo that it did not take long before the message got out to parents about holding these parties, and I think they've written a handful of those citations, but them going actually back out to the house, and they get the message pretty quickly. And I think amongst the parents, when they talk and they figure out that they could be fanged for $1,000 with the social host ordinance, it has a tendency for the parents to say we're not interested in holding these types of parties.
And just to clarify, Tom, I think we spoke that you said that this can also qualify as a misdemeanor if
yes.
It gets to court.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion.
I'll move the...
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Call for the vote.
Did we read it?
Yes.
Okay.
9D.
5 yes votes.
Mr. Mayor, 9D is to consider a resolution adopting the annual report of the Garden Grove Tourist Improvement District Advisory Board, and Greg Blodge is here to give a staff report on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, tonight we have a resolution approving the annual report of the Garden Grove Tourist Improvement District Advisory Board declaring intention to levy assessment for the years 2013, 2014, and also for Garden Grove Tourist Improvement District to set a public hearing for June 25th. The district was established June 24th, 2010, and the purpose is to provide and defray costs for advertising, marketing efforts, also designed to increase overnight stays within the Garden Grove Gigi Tidd Hotel District. Also, it's used for construction, maintenance of improvements, and other services and programs that promote and encourage tourism within the Gigi Tidd. The Gigi Tidd Advisory Board is recommending the annual assessments for fiscal year 13-14 continue to be 2.5% and also 0.5% for the two tiers. So there's Tier 1 and Tier 2. Tier 1 is the hotels that are located north of Lamson Avenue, and Tier 2 hotels are located south of Lamson Avenue along Harbor to Garden Grove Boulevard. State law requires City Council to annually adopt a resolution declaring its intention to levy an annual assessment for upcoming fiscal year based on Gigi Tidd Advisory Board annual report, and scheduling a public hearing on the proposed assessment, which is scheduled for June 25th. At this time, it's recommended that the City Council adopt the attached resolution. That concludes my report.
Any questions for staff?
Move we adopt the resolution.
We have a motion.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Let's go to 10A.
Mr. Mayor, 10A is an ordinance for second reading. That's ordinance number 2830, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove amending sections 5.52.090, 5.52.150, 5.52.220, 5.52330, 5.52.360, and 5.52.400 of Chapter 5.52 of Title V of the Garden Grove Municipal Code pertaining to tow trucks, towing operation, and tow truck driver permits and rotational tow services.
What sections again?
That was good. Anybody want to ask questions or entertain a motion?
I'll move approval.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Matters from the mayor and city council and city manager. Mr. Chris Baird.
We're going to have a discussion on 11A.
11A.
Lamson Manley?
Yeah, Lamson.
Manley.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I got past that. Matters from, okay, yes. There have been several things that have happened on the Lamson Avenue near Manley Street intersection, and we'd like to see if we get a report on both of them if possible.
I'd like to start, Mr. Mayor, then. 2 weeks ago, on May 28th, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and what I want to report on is factual information. I'm not trying to draw opinions. It's too early in the investigation to determine what the facts and the true cause of the accident are. And I'm trying to be delicate because we do have a family on the west end that's also grieving for the loss of their 31-year-old son. So I'd like to report the facts, but without being critical of any type of behaviors or decisions that may have impacted or caused this collision. That being said, 2 weeks ago, about 3 in the afternoon, a 31-year-old male driver, the single occupant of a pickup truck, was driving westbound on Lamson from the Valley View area towards the Seal Beach border. The vehicle was in the number 1 lane, traveling about 35 to 40 miles an hour based on witness statements. As the vehicle was proceeding westbound, nearing the intersection of Lamson and Manley, the light for east and westbound traffic changed from red to green for the east and westbound traffic. The driver of the vehicle was coming up. There was a car stopped in both the number 1 and number 2 westbound lanes, and when they got the fresh green, they were just starting from a stop position, and the driver of the pickup truck was coming up behind them, again, about 35 or 40 miles an hour. So rather than braking and waiting, the driver swerved to the left and used the vacant westbound left turn lane, proceeded through the intersection, and then tried to turn right to get back into the number 1 lane of travel, but was traveling at such a speed that he couldn't negotiate the turn. Unfortunately, there was a vehicle in the eastbound turn pocket of Lamson preparing to make a northbound turn onto onto Manly, when the driver of the truck then struck, not head-on, but about half head-on, the right side of the right front of the pickup truck struck the right front of the opposing vehicle, which caused the pickup truck to then turn onto the driver's side and overturn and skid, continuing westbound on Lamson away from Manly. That impact, unfortunately, killed the driver of the truck instantly. Fortunately, the 2 occupants of the eastbound vehicle that had been hit by this driver did not sustain serious injuries. And what it appears at this point, and we won't have the final results until about 6 more weeks until the Orange County Coroner's Office has completed not only the results of the autopsy, but a complete toxicology examination. It does appear, based on witness statements that were at the scene, they detected a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from the inside of the pickup truck. And we do have a suspicion that illegal drugs could also have been consumed by the driver of the pickup truck prior to the accident.
Do we know where he was before he come down Lamson? I mean, was he at somebody's house or business or work or?
No, that we do not know at this time. And then last Wednesday on June 5th, at about 10 minutes after 7 p.m., a pedestrian was at the northwest corner of Lamson and Manly and was waiting to cross southbound across Lamson to go to the southwest corner of Lamson and Manly. The pedestrian obtained the green light to allow him to legally cross the intersection when a motorist was driving north on Manly and prepared to make a left or a westbound turn onto Lamson, headed towards Seal Beach Boulevard. As the pedestrian was just about in the center of the street, as far as where the double yellow lines would be, the motorist turned left and apparently did not see the pedestrian, struck the pedestrian, threw the pedestrian up into the air. Fortunately, his injuries were moderate. He had facial abrasions, complaints of pain in his shoulders and his legs, but he was not transported from the scene. He was allowed to seek his own medical attention. The driver stopped momentarily in the northwest parking lot at Lamson and Manly, seemed to look back to possibly to see if at least the pedestrian stood up, and then unfortunately fled the scene westbound on Lamson towards Seal Beach Boulevard. A witness did provide the responding officers a license plate that he had remembered from the suspect vehicle, but so far it doesn't appear that all the numbers in the letters seem to be exactly appropriate, so we're working through DMV to at least try to ascertain a combination of numbers to come to the vehicle description that the witness described. So presently, it's a felony hit-and-run investigation.
I understand that the Public Works is putting some new apparatuses out there.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. We've put up flashing beacons today as you approach Manly, as you're driving down Lamson.
Which way?
Both eastbound and westbound, prior to the curve as you approach the intersection, to kind of give it a heightened sense to the motorist that an intersection is coming and that a curve is coming. So we've put that out there. We've also put out a police vehicle to provide hopefully a little bit better deterrent for bad behavior. And that intersection will move the car around to make it feel like it's being occupied and manned.
Does that work?
It's worked for the city of Anaheim. We're going to try it out, and see if it'll prove effective here at this location.
No, what am I to say? You know, I pull into our parking lot at City Hall every day, and I see that owl over in the building across the street. I guess it's supposed to keep other birds away. And there's a bird landing right on the owl's head, you know. And so.
Well, what we're also going to do, Mr. Mayor, is although the vehicle is there as a deterrent, it doesn't preclude us from also moving the vehicle and putting an occupied traffic vehicle there with a live person and a laser radar gun that could actually issue tickets too. So we're going to be having the flexibility to move people in and out of the area. The traffic unit has had a high visibility all along Lamson from basically from, let's say, 6 weeks ago when there were some concerns by members of the community about some of the traffic and the turning movements in front of Pacifica High School. And so that visibility and enforcement has continued. At the same time, we do plan to have a sobriety checkpoint on Lamson between Valley View and Manly sometime in the near future. Prior to the implementation, that will be publicly announced. And also the Seal Beach Police Department is going to be holding a sobriety checkpoint on Lamson west of Manly to also add a deterrent, because I spoke to the Chief of Police from Seal Beach, and they're also experiencing traffic collisions on their portion of Lamson west of Manly going towards Seal Beach Boulevard.
There's another curve up there, yes.
And they're experiencing the same problems.
Okay, well, that all sounds good. I certainly appreciate the report, and let's hope that we have no more accidents. And eventually, I'd like to walk that with several of you gentlemen and take a look at it and see if there's, because I'm really convinced that a blinking red light 24 hours a day at Lamson and Manly would resolve a lot of problems.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a comment?
Sure.
Question? Yeah, I've been out there several times. I live in the area. I walk my dog by that area all the time, too. And I've seen the display of the speed display that it has out there. I think that's effective in and of itself right then and there. I was viewing that for a while, and I see in my observation of cars going eastbound that they are adhering to the 45 miles per hour speed limit, typically in the times that I've been there. So that's a good sign of people going in that direction. And I see the signs are clearly marked 40 miles per hour on each side as you turn down there, and I've seen the blinking lights, and that's good. I'm glad to hear that you're stepping up your enforcement. It started 6 weeks ago, and I believe that it does have an effect on behavior modification for people. The laws are in place, the street signs are posted, everything's there. It's just changing the behavior of people who go regularly down that area. Sadly and tragically, we have speed issues there with young people, nighttime issues. I want to clarify something, too. At night, do we not also have blinking, or it's a solid red light there from 10 o'clock at night until 5 in the morning? That's a public works director question. The blinking light at Manly and Lamson, it blinks, it's on. I'm not out that late, so I don't get around there. Just to prevent people from a straight thoroughfare late at night going down Lamson.
What we're doing is we have the median project that's currently underway, and at the end of that, which will be within about 30 days from now, we're going to be installing the traffic signal loops there and coordinating through Dan's office reprogramming of the traffic controller box, and in the evening hours from 10 till 6?
11 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning.
Okay, 11 to 5. That light will default to red in all directions. And so you will have to pull up and get onto the loops, which are the circular detectors for your vehicle, in order to get the light to signal to green. So it'll effectively be an always stop during the late evening time.
Okay.
And that we're just waiting to get that underway. We've had that in plan for the better part of a year now.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing that. And Chief, thank you for your sensitivity in the situation with the individual involved. It's a tough situation to be in, and we're waiting for more information on that. But it does demonstrate a point of people and their behavior and their driving down that particular area. But from my observations, it's well posted. Everything's up to snuff with the legal aspects of the road, the conditions, everything else. So what it will take periodically will be enforcement and awareness and involvement of the community. I know the word has gotten out in the community in that neighborhood, so people who typically drive through that need to be aware. And so I just commend you for your efforts. And this is an ongoing. This is not going to be solved in this one instance, in this one situation, but we have to continually be aware, have a presence there, have enforcement, and have the community involved in that area. And I think this is the start of that ongoing process. So thank you for your efforts, and I hope more to come.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chris, you're out first.
Okay, there is an issue coming up, not an issue, but a seminar. First time for the city. It's related to, well, what a transition to coyotes here in the city of Garden Grove. The city will be hosting a Living with Coyotes seminar. Now, this is one of my, pardon the pun, pet project, in that I'm a dog lover, dog owner, cat owner, and just to make people aware, and there are a lot of people aware that there are coyotes everywhere in the Orange County and in Garden Grove. They're in Seal Beach, they're in Huntington Beach. In fact, I got this idea from watching cable TV on a Huntington Beach channel that had a seminar on coyotes living in Orange County, or habitats of them. They're here like raccoons, like skunks, like squirrels. They're throughout our community. And this seminar will inform individuals who are pet owners, who are citizens of Garden Grove, of what the conditions of these habitats. And it'll give you tips and information on how to deal with coyote sightings. It's being done in conjunction with the County of Orange Animal Care Services. Also, representatives from the California State Department of Fish and Games will be there. It's going to be very informative. It's going to be our first one. So I hope if you're a pet owner, please, and you have the time, come out. It will be June 18th, 6 p.m. here at the Community Meeting Center in Conference Room B. So I encourage everyone to come. It's on the website, too. So if you have an opportunity, you want to find out about coyotes, believe me, it's a very interesting topic. They're interesting critters, and they're there, and they're here to stay. So if you can make it, please do. I'm sure it'll be very worthwhile. Another item I hope to see a lot of people at the Lannis Play Center this Saturday, the 50th anniversary. Probably more to be said on that. And I'm so pleased to see the social host ordinance come in. It's dear to me as well, because I have sons in that age group of 20, 18, and 16. They have friends, and so I think this is going to be a valuable tool in the tool chest of the police department to help in this situation. I commend the efforts of the Drug Free Coalition to be promoting this, and for their efforts to make this happen in the city, and I want to commend them for doing that. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dina?
Yes. Well, the coyotes are not the only animals that likes to live in Garden Grove. We have a lot of opossums, and I have to share my home with them. And I learned that they're protected species, so you can't just get rid of them. So you better learn to live with them.
Yeah. Well, but possums won't eat your dog or little Fifi or anything like that. So.
No, they just go.
Why would a possum be a protected? I have no idea.
They're protected, so
They're so cute.
They're all over the place.
Well, all over. They're here to stay. Also, on this Saturday, we have the 25th anniversary of the Little Saigon Business District. And believe it or not, people think it's Westminster, but no, a majority of it is in Garden Grove. We have 2/3 of the businesses in Garden Grove. So, but because it started out in Westminster, we're going to have a little celebration on Saturday at 2 o'clock at the Asian Garden Mall, and it's located at 9200 Bosa Avenue, Westminster, starting at 2 p.m. They will have lots of food there and entertainment and speakers to talk about how the Little Vietnamese community has grown and contributed to this community. I'm looking forward to June 10th on June 22nd and the Neighborhood Association. I'm so glad that they've included everybody now. It's not just Central Garden Grove. I like that, and I think it's going to be fun for a family to join for $12. Also, remember to buy in Garden Grove, and that's all I have to say.
Chris Van.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Laura Wynn, for the introduction of the American Red Cross. I want to just remind everyone it's going to be on Sunday, June the 23rd, from 10 to 4, over at the Bank of America on the corner of Brookhurst and Westminster. I'm a regular blood donor. I really believe that we're kind of like cars. You know, every few months you have to kind of change the oil. And so I did that before I went to Iraq. And when I came back from Iraq, they said I can't donate for a year. So I'm very glad that I'm over that year now and can redonate. When we were in the war zone, guys, it was imperative that we have blood. And it's amazing how we take it for granted when we're in good health not to give blood. But I encourage everyone in our community and our council and our staff to come out and give blood if you can, because it's imperative to those who can and need that help. And secondly, I want to talk about on this coming Sunday at 11 o'clock in the morning over at the Vietnam War Memorial over in Westminster, the Vietnamese Armed Forces, or the former Vietnamese Armed Forces, is having their commemoration day. It's akin to like the U.S. Armed Forces Day. And how we just had our Memorial Day this past May. Many times we forget the fact that when we lost, or when Vietnam fell to communism, there were a lot of vets from Vietnam who basically left Vietnam to flee all over the world, and a lot of them live here in our city of Garden Grove and Westminster. And they use that day to remember all of their sacrifices and all that they left behind. So I encourage our community to come out there and show support and be with them. And again, it's next Sunday, or this coming Sunday at 11 o'clock at the Vietnam War Memorial. Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Laura, for sharing your story. It weighs heavy when you hear kind of the tragic story that a family has to go through, and you're just one of many that obviously went through that. One other thing, on the 25th anniversary this Saturday, I previously had it on my calendar at 3 o'clock. I want to just make clarification. I've heard that it's been changed to 2 o'clock, and that's what you said, so
Yes.
I just changed it on my calendar, but just so that everyone knows. And I know my kids are really looking forward to the 50th anniversary of Atlantis Park at noon on Saturday. So.
Me too.
Well, it's my pleasure to, I don't give blood anymore. Since I take heart medicine, they put a stop to it. I was 2 quarts short of the 5-gallon club or something like that. But a lot of people say I'm 2 quarts short. But I had an exciting week this week. I performed a marriage. Mayors can do that, and I had never done that before, so it was exciting. It was Dina's younger brother. And I never experienced what he said. When it was time for him to say, "I do," he said, "Sure." It was different. So anyway, but it was fun. It was a fun experience. We lost a gentleman in Mr. Armando Morales this week. He worked for the city for I don't know how many years, but they wrote something for me to read, and I am going to read it now. Recently, the city of Garden Grove lost a longtime employee and very dear friend, Mr. Armando Morales. Born in Nogales, Arizona, Armando served in the National Guard's Infantry Division in 1959 and graduated from Arizona State University in 1962. Armando worked for the city of Garden Grove from 1973 until his retirement in 2003, but was often called back to provide his unique skills and knowledge as the city's real property manager. He was a character and a gentleman who always had a funny story or a joke to tell in a style all of his own. He was jokingly referred to as the most interesting man in the world because of his likeness to the Dos Equis spokesman. He was always smiling, always upbeat, and cared for his family as much as his own. He cared for his city family as much as his own. He deeply loved his wife of 46 years, Grace, whom he referred to as his queen. He had 2 successful sons, Armando Jr. and Rene, who were his pride and joy. At his memorial service, both his sons utilized it. My tongue won't say that. Spoke good of him. A wonderful father, friend, and mentor. After a difficult 2-year battle with cancer, Armando found earnest rest, eternal rest. He left us with many fond memories and stories that he will never forget. The city of Garden Grove expresses its deepest condolences to the Morales family. He will continue to be a very cherished member of our city family. May he rest in peace. He was really a unique individual, a real fun guy to work with. At this time, we'll close the regular meeting of the Garden Grove City Council to June 25th, 2013, at 5:30 p.m.